Bob was a binman. His life was uneventful. Bob didn't particularly stand out at school. He wasn't thick, but on the other hand he wasn't particularly bright. He wasn't ambitious. He was a big guy, fairly heavy, set, and 6 foot tall, with fine blondish hair. And when he left school, he got a job with the council as a binman. He's the guy that takes the plastic bins and puts them on the back of the vehicle, and they tip up and deposit all the rubbish. And it could be recycling bottles and card and things. So he would get up at 5 in the morning, probably leave his council house about 5:45, and go to work 5 days a week. He got paid union rates, so he'd probably come out with a few £100 a week. Nothing dramatic. He didn't drive a car, didn't drive a motorbike, didn't have any interests, so he's paying a low rent, low council tax, and was a simple man. 23 years ago, he was a steady worker. And carried on in this steady, low risk type of way for the next 23 years. He didn't ever get his own transport, so he'd rely on getting a bus to the depot, and for a while he got a bicycle, a mountain bike type of thing, and that got him to the depot. He did this on and off for a few years. In the early days, he was a Rangers supporter, so keenly listened to the matches on the radio. But he didn't even bother keeping up that hobby. That lasted about a solid year, and then he stopped following his football team. He decided to set up a little workshop in his spare room and did some metal projects, but that didn't last more than just a few months. So he didn't really do anything at all. He wasn't a gardener. He had no outside interests. For the most part, he didn't even leave the flat. Apart from going to work and coming back, he'd probably leave 5:45 in the morning, come back about 4, and that was his week. At the weekend, there was always a big treat on offer, and that was a pizza would be ordered. And it would cost him £33 for his pizza delivery. And I used to think, seems quite extravagant, but then again, he doesn't have any other expenses apart from his rent and council tax. Doesn't do anything else, not got a mortgage, not got a car. So perhaps that pizza delivery will last him a few days. So when you look at it like that, it's probably not that much. So over a period of 23 years, he would see my cats appearing on the scene, me looking after them, a rabbit appearing on the scene for 6 or 7 years, cats for 23 years, all different types of cats, 9 or 10 different cats. And he would rarely engage with me. Over that period of time, I think he said hello maybe about 3 times. So on average, maybe once every 7 years. He didn't seem to be a bad person. He seemed to be okay. He was friendly enough. Didn't say very much, if anything. And led a life where nothing ever happened. Just his routine. And one day, quite recently, he thought to himself, I can't be bothered with this anymore, so I'm just not going to turn up for work. And when asked by the council why he wasn't turning up for work, he said, just can't be bothered. So they asked him if he was unwell. He said no. And they thought, well, he's a big kind of burly guy, maybe he doesn't like talking about things about mental health. Are you like feeling depressed? No. So why are you not coming into work? I just can't be bothered. He said, I just can't be bothered. So, do you want to go and see your doctor? Because we'll need a sick line. He said, no, I just can't be bothered. The council then said to him, well, you need to have a reason for not being at work. He said, well, my reason is I don't want to turn up. They said, well, perhaps you've got that type of thing that came into fashion 20 or 30 years ago, which is like ME, where you feel lethargic and you've got no energy. Is it that? He says, I do feel lethargic, I don't have any energy, but really, there's nothing wrong with me, and I don't have a mental illness. I just don't want to turn up for work. So they said, well, you realise that you need to turn up for work, and if you don't, you got to have some type of medical reason or some type of mental reason in terms of depression, or you may have something like ME where you lack energy. Have you been to see a doctor? He said, no, I can't be bothered. So this went on for 6 months, and he simply didn't turn up. And they contacted him in writing and says, if you don't turn up for work now, we're going to have to terminate your employment. We're going to have to sack you. How do you feel about that? He says, I don't care. And they said, can you give us your reason why you don't want to turn up for work? Is there something bothering you? He said, I don't want to turn up because I can't be bothered. And they said, well, in that case, we'll have to terminate your employment. And he said, so what? So the man got sacked last month after an illustrious 23-year career. And the reason why he got sacked was he simply didn't turn up.